Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, I'm going to introduce a very important question to my dear students in secondary school. It is summary making. I have prepared a presentation about summary making, which inshallah will facilitate and simplify this question for you and enable all students to get the full mark, inshallah, in this question. I choose a simple text entitled empathy. And it's clear that we should choose a simple passage at the beginning of introducing this question. Later, I record some periods or classes which have more complicated passages. Today, as I said, I choose a passage which is called empathy. This passage always have a question. For example, what's the importance of empathy for humans? We're not discussing the passage right now. Before discussing the passage and the techniques and the tips you use to answer this question, I'll introduce many advices, many tips, many techniques before answering. So we will go to first what we call tips to follow. The first step for you as a students is to read the paragraph once quickly as a whole. The second step is to read the question under the passage carefully, to focus on the purpose of your reading. You're reading the passage to answer this question specifically. Then the third step is to underline the four sentences which answer your questions with a pencil, and you can delete the lines later with the rubber, of course. You can underline the main ideas in each sentence separately. Ignore details or examples that support them. Write in the form of a paragraph. Don't write numbers. Don't write 1, 2, 3, 4. Just write sentence number 1, full stop, sentence number 2, full stop, and so on in the form of a paragraph. Number 7, don't repeat the ideas. Sometimes the passage gives you explanation and examples about the same idea, and students get confused. So you have to write only the main sentence. Don't write examples, don't write explanation, and so on. So these are the steps, the tips that you have to follow before answering a summary making question. Now we'll move to another thing. We'll move to how to paraphrase. But before you know how to paraphrase, you have to know the meaning of paraphrasing. What's paraphrasing? To paraphrase is to rewrite the sentences using your own words. And this can be done by different techniques. What are these techniques? The first one is using synonyms. Using synonyms, you find words and find other meanings to these words or similar meanings. Second, changing parts of a speech. Of course, we will go to each one of these elements in detail. Changing parts of speech means verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and so on. Number 3, changing word order. Number 4, shortening the sentence by removing unnecessary details. Number 5, use passive voice and vice versa. Number 6, use sequence words, which are always needed. You can simplify complex sentences into simple ones. Now, I'll deal with each one of these in detail. The first one is using synonyms and similar meanings. As I said, I'm not gonna use some abstract words. I'm gonna give you everything practically to enable you to do this on your own. For example, we have a sentence here, and I took all the sentence from the passage that I chose today. The first one is empathy. Empathy is very important. So how can we use synonyms to change this word, this sentence? You can say empathy is extremely significant. What did I do? I replaced the word very with its synonym, which is extremely. I also replaced the word important with its synonym, which is significant. Also, you can say empathy is greatly essential. I replaced the word very with the word greatly, and I replaced the word important with the word essential. In this way, we change the sentence by using the technique which is called synonyms. Now let's move to another technique, which is changing parts of speech. Look at the example. Empathy is the ability to share someone else's feelings. Here, I'd like to change parts of speech. I mean, to change a verb into a noun, to change a noun into an adjective, to change an adjective into an adverb. And we have a real example from the passage, as I said. So how can we change this sentence? Look at this. Instead of saying the ability to share, I used empathy is to be able to share. So I changed the word ability with the verb be able to. I changed the noun into a verb. So empathy is to be able to share. Instead of someone else's feeling, I said others' feelings. But my focus is on changing the noun into a verb, which we call changing parts of a speech. I can also say empathy is to be able to share others what they feel. I also changed the word feelings with the word feel from a noun into a verb. So the second technique, as you see, changing parts of speech. Let's move to another technique, which is word order. Empathy is also good for your marriage. Here we have a specific order for the sentence, and I made some change in the word order, and this is one technique for paraphrasing. You can answer saying, it's good to have empathy when you get married. So I changed the word order and I didn't change the meaning. Also, you can say, it's good for your marriage to have empathy. So I changed the order of the sentence twice, but I didn't change the meaning. Also, you will go to shortening sentences by removing unnecessary details. This is another technique for paraphrasing, to shorten the sentence. Look at this example. You place yourself in their shoes and feel what they feel. Look at this example and see how I'll shorten the sentence and make it shorter. You can only write, you feel what they are feeling, or you feel what they feel. So we shorten the sentence and it gives the same meaning. Now let's move to another technique, which is using passive and active. Yeah, if you have an active sentence, you can change it into passive and vice versa. Look at this example. Empathy holds human society together. But I improvise this example. It's not in the passive because the passive doesn't have passive voice. Okay, so I had to make a sentence from the passage. Empathy holds human society together. How can we paraphrase this sentence using passive voice? Look at this. Society is held together by empathy or through empathy. This is a present simple sentence, and we use a simple present passive. Object is are, past participle from the word hold, which is held. Another example from the text. Empathy reduces racism. We can say racism is reduced by empathy or through empathy. You can also change passive into active form. Societies can be changed by empathy. We can change this passive sentence with modal verbs into active one. How? Empathy can change societies. Okay? So This is the technique of how to change a sentence from from active into passive and vice versa. Now let's move to another technique, which is using sequence words. Sequence words give the sentence a kind of coherence and connection, okay? And examples of these connection words are first, then, moreover, besides, in addition, next, finally. This will be shown practically when we go back to the text, because I'm gonna giving you techniques to use, to apply them on the text that we are going to discuss right now, inshallah. Now we move to our text. Our text is about empathy. I read it quickly because this is a kind of lecturing, because I don't have students right now with me. Empathy is one of human values that we need to live by. It is the ability to share someone else's feelings, as Merriam-Webster dictionary refers. It involves understanding another person's conditions from his point of view. You place yourself in their shoes and feel what they are feeling. This helps us to love each other and build a tolerant society. Empathy is very important because it is the social glue that holds human society together. It has many benefits. It reduces racism and increases equality and justice. It's also good for marriage, since it enables you to understand your partner's emotions, resolve conflicts, and enhance the relationship. Moreover, empathy is good for health care. A study found that doctors high in empathy have patients who enjoy better health. This is our passage about empathy. But we have, when you answer a summary making question, you have to focus on the question. You have an idea about the passage, it's about empathy, okay, and the importance of empathy. And now let's move to the question. Well, the question, what is the importance of empathy for humans? What is the importance of empathy for? So we are gonna focus on what? The empathy, the importance of empathy for humans. That's what you're gonna answer. How you find 4 answers in the text. 4 answers, only 4 answers in the text that answer this question. You didn't bring ideas from your own. You bring them from the text. So let's go back to our text. Our question was, what is the importance of empathy? What is the importance of empathy? Here, I underlined the most important. We have about 6 answers here. For example, this helps us to love each other and build a tolerant society. So the first point is the importance of empathy is to build a tolerant society. This is number 1. Empathy is very important because it is the social glue that holds human society together. So the second answer, it holds human society together. We didn't start paraphrasing. We are just determining the answers. So the first one, build a tolerant society. The second one, hold human society together. Number 3, it reduces racism. This is number 3. Number 4, it increases equality and justice. Number 5, it's good for your marriage. Number 6, moreover, empathy is good for healthcare. So it's important for healthcare. So we decided now that we have 6 answers. But as we told you, you have to write only 4 answers. So what can we do? We will go now step by step. The answer. I'll make a skip to see the answer, to move between the passage and the answer to enable you to see what I did exactly. Look at this. This helps us from the beginning, this helps us to love each other and build a tolerant society. How did I write this sentence? Look at the first answer. First, I used sequence words. First, empathy is important for humans because, this is the answer, it helps us to have a tolerant society. Note that I made here an introduction, which is empathy is important for humans Because I join the sentence with the answer to make them one sentence. Be careful. Empathy is important for humans. What's the answer? Because it helps us to have a tolerant society. So this is the first answer. The second answer is empathy is important because it is the social glue that holds human society together. How did I change it, or I paraphrased this sentence? I said, moreover, this is a sequence words. It enables us to have a solid society. I used synonym. I used parts of speech. I used shortening the text. I used different techniques in this sentence. We'll go back to the third answer. It reduces racism and increases equality and justice. We said, in addition, instead of reduces, I used the word listen. This is a synonym. Racism. And I used the word enhance. This is a synonym. And we joined the two sentences to make them one sentence. Let's move to the last one. Moreover, empathy is good for health care. I said, finally, it's good for marriage and health care. I joined two ideas just to make them four sentences. This is a good technique. If you're not sure about one answer and you believe that they are all right, you can join two sentences using the word and they become one sentence to be able to write only four sentences and to get the full mark. This is the model answer for the passage, but of course, anyone can write different techniques. They can write other answers. This is not exactly only one answer for the question. It depends on your style. What did you use? Do you use passive? Do you use synonyms? Do you use parts of speech? So the answer differs from one another, but we have certain procedures, okay, and criteria that we should follow. So this is the answer for the passage. We applied all the techniques clearly, and we give a sample answer to you. I'll also move to the rubrics to enable you to know everything about the question. When you answer a summary making question, this question have 60 marks, 60 marks. Of course, they are divided by 10 and become 6 marks, but let's go on the rubrics themselves. 3 marks or 30 marks on the content and ideas. So when you find the 4 answers, you have 30 marks. Paraphrasing, according to the different techniques we mentioned, when you make a good paraphrasing, you get 20 marks. Spelling and grammar, 5 marks. Paragraph format, as I told you, don't write 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to write in the form of a paragraph. In this way, you can get the full mark, which is 60 marks, okay? So I hope that you understand everything about the summary making question, and I promise you that you can have other lectures or classes about summary making. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for listening to our class. Thank you very much. Goodbye.